What I'm about to tell you in this video is absolutely groundbreaking. It is shocking. Fans are going to be very, very, very intrigued to see how things unfold. My name is Zango, and on this channel, I talk about the latest happening in pro wrestling, and today we have 3 big stories, and we're going to kick things off with FTR. If you guys don't know what's happening with FTR, well, now it's been revealed on the FTR podcast by Dax Harwood, and he did reveal that he and Cash Wheeler are taking time away from AEW. Obviously, we saw FTR drop those tag titles to Dralistico and Dragon Lee, the AAA Tag Team Championships. We also saw them drop the IWGP Tag Team Championships to Goto and Yoshihashi. And obviously now these guys have a very interesting future ahead of them. And realistically, this is what it comes down to. He talked about it on his podcast. He says he got the blessing from Tony Khan and, of course, Cash Wheeler to discuss this. But really, this comes down to figuring out what they want to do with their careers. Dax Harwood mentions being 38 years old. He talks about how hard it is to play with his daughter. And, they feel like they're on the tail end of their career. They don't envision themselves wrestling, tours in Mexico or Japan in 5 years. And so whatever they decide to do when their contracts expire will essentially come down to them and where they see their careers ending. So whether that's in AEW or WWE, obviously there's been a lot of rumors and stuff, but whatever they end up doing when they come back from break will essentially be how their careers end. And you know what? I've said this before. I feel like FTR is the greatest tag team right now. Obviously the Usos had a fantastic year. Obviously there's other tag teams out there that exist that do really well. The Young Bucks are great. But FTR, I feel like they deserve this break. They are really, really good at what they do. And whatever they decide to do, whether it's WWE, AEW, retirement, obviously the best thing to do is support them. I think there's a lot of valid reasons as to why they want to take a break, and that is completely fine. And then ultimately that decision is left up to them. But it's something that we'll be paying attention to because there's been a lot of rumors and speculation. And now Dax Harwood has come out. He praised Tony Khan, and he's doing this all publicly. I want to talk about the Royal Rumble because there are some things being planned for the Royal Rumble. These are some possible spoilers, so if you don't like that, definitely fast forward to the main event of this video. But essentially, Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported that both Edge and Beth Phoenix are slated to be at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, neither of them have been on television since, I think it was Extreme Rules, when the Judgment Day absolutely destroyed them. Also, Doudrop, who recently stated that she was dealing with an illness, is also expected to be back around the time of the Rumble. Johnson also did mention that she will be part of the Raw brand, so she will be returning to Raw. And then other possibilities that have been mentioned is Logan Paul. He is definitely being talked about in regard to an appearance at the Rumble as well, as long as his knee is ready to go. So obviously WWE has a couple superstars who have been out due to injury or due to storyline reasons, and Royal Rumble is obviously going to be a spot where we can expect to see them. Now, the real question here is, does Doudrop come back as Doudrop, or does she come back as Piper Niven? With Edge and Beth Phoenix, are they going to be part of the respective Royal Rumble matches, or are they going to get involved with the potential match that is happening with the Judgment Day at the Royal Rumble? And then obviously with Logan Paul, obviously, there's been a lot of rumors with him and John Cena being set up for WrestleMania, which is interesting considering the fact that, Austin Theory has also been dropping hints and trying to make that match happen on television. So really, a lot of these returns could actually jumpstart some new stories or go back to some original stories. And I just want to bring that up because Royal Rumble is all about surprises. And of course, we should expect some, perhaps some debuts or some key signings that have returned. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is being hyped up for a return. Does he return at Royal Rumble? There's a lot of questions there. And obviously, that's why I want to bring this update. But now it is actually time to talk about the biggest story, because I am not joking when I tell you guys this. This is very real. This is very legit. This is a really big story. And we are talking about the Khan family buying WWE. And I cannot literally believe that we're talking about this, but we got to talk about it because according to Barron's, which is the sister publication to the Wall Street Journal and a subsidiary of Dow Jones and Company, they are reporting that AEW's Shad and Tony Khan are said to be interested in buying WWE. The story notes that while Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund appears to be more likely to buy WWE, The Khan family is very well in the pool of potential buyers for the WWE, according to a source close to the potential transaction. The story adds that the Khans will likely look for a financial partner to acquire the asset. Tony Khan's father, Shahid Khan, also, who is the co-owner of AEW. You got to remember that he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Fulham Football Club. Everybody knows the Khan family has some serious money, but the real question is here, do they buy WWE? And guys, guess what? I actually do not know if they will buy the WWE. But look, entirely, I think some people might be shocked with my response here. I'm just going to be honest. I do think the potential owners, being fans of wrestling, could very well be a good thing for WWE, right? Now, whether or not that means Tony Khan comes into WWE and fires Triple H, I don't know. But it is very interesting to think that maybe AEW, who's only been, off the ground for 4 years roughly, they could potentially be the new buyers of WWE. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to harp on this. There's going to be a lot of people who have differing opinions and views on this. But the one thing I will say, whether or not you love or hate AEW, if the Khan family were to own WWE, I don't think it would be ran like AEW. Now, the real question here is what happens to AEW? And look, for shits and giggles, for fantasy booking purposes, I think AEW and WWE would be a really massive wrestling company. And I think, obviously there's going to be some conflict of interest because you have ROH, and that was a company that Tony Khan bought, earlier last year or whatever. But he bought ROH, and then obviously you have to factor in AEW Dynamite and Rampage, Raw, SmackDown. That is a lot of wrestling. And to be honest with you, I just personally don't think WWE will sell to them. But if they did, I think there could be some really massive stuff that happens over time, because realistically, Tony Khan would have the largest roster in the world. He would have the most television time in the world, which means obviously more people could be used. And quite frankly, he would have access to a lot of historical footage, which we all know that right now the key to the wrestling business is not necessarily just the wrestling that takes place on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. No, the real value here is the tape libraries. And with streaming being so prominent, Tony Khan would essentially have so many incredible historical footage that if Tony Khan wanted to start his own streaming service, he absolutely can. And then obviously you have ROH and all of the WWE stuff. Or you could start making money off of it just like WWE did by going to NBC Peacock. So it's a very interesting scenario. Is it very likely? No, I don't think it's really likely, but you never know. And I will say this, I truly believe this. Whether or not you like Tony Khan's booking, that's not really the situation that I want to discuss. What I want to discuss is who should own WWE. And I think it would be better for a wrestling fan or somebody who actually owns a wrestling company. It would be great to see them at least become the new owners. Obviously, this is where things get interesting, but let's see what happens.